hope you're having a wonderful afternoon. I'm back to the videos, and I've been holding off on this one for a week because I had to get over being a little angry and figuring out how I should handle this because I don't really want to blow it. I flew last Monday, and of course I arrived at the airport, and well, it wasn't the first of the year yet for my resolution that I'm going to stop being late. And I was 10 minutes late. I'd been trying to check in online, but it wouldn't let me. And I tried the night before, and again tried before I left the house, and got to the airport. And as soon as I walked in, I saw a woman, and I walked right over to her and I said, and of course I walked in the airport with my face covering on, not a mask. I did not walk in and put the face covering on. It was on prior to walking in those doors. I didn't want to take a chance because, well, I'd already ditched my flight out to Calgary because I thought I might be on a list of sorts, like a no-fly list. Not because I'd done anything, but because now in Canada, to have your opinion could cost you. And I know that. So I didn't want to take any chances. And I grabbed a ride a couple days early, just in case, because I wasn't blowing my plans to get not a mask all squared away. I walk in, I find this woman right away. And my mom said, your dad better go in and make sure you get on that plane. And so my dad was tagging along. And she said, let's go look. And she grabbed me and brought me over to another counter, just sort of behind where you walk in. And I gave her my name. And she said, started looking for the flight. And she said, do you have a mask? And I said, well, I'm wearing a face covering. And she said, no. Do you have a mask? I said, no, I actually designed this face covering for travel, and it complies. There's no gaps. And as you can see, I did this. There's no gaps, nothing. It's perfectly in line. She said, no, you'll have to wear a mask. And then she started in, she said, you don't have a flight. I said, yes, I do have a flight. I said, I didn't actually get the first flight. Didn't tell her why. And she said, well, there is no flight. I said, well, I've paid for a flight. And then she said, well, you said you won't wear a mask. I said, I did not say I won't wear a mask. I said, I'm wearing a face covering. She confirms I've got a flight and then comes back at it again. Is there some reason you can't wear a mask to fly? I said, no. I said, I designed a face covering exclusively for this purpose because I am asthmatic and I find it difficult to breathe in a mask. She said, it looks like you're getting agitated. I said, I'm not agitated at all. So you're telling me you won't wear the mask? I never said I wouldn't wear the mask. I said that I had a face covering, and if this is not good enough, I will wear your issued mask. Okay, she says. She explains to me everything, walks me over to put my bag, and then gives me this thing. Now, I've walked in and been perfectly compliant the entire time. And I do appreciate her getting me on the flight. I do. But at the end of the day, here I am in this. No gaps. Completely compliant. Absolutely. And she gives me this piece of garbage. Now I'm going to show you that I actually was made to downgrade to a piece of shit on my face. This thing. Gap. You cannot wear this and there not be gaps, because even when you've got it pushed in, there's gaps. Gaps. In any case, she gave it to me. I ran, and they had me at D gate. Of course, that's at the very far end. Now, I didn't put this piece of crap on my face, not yet. I ran with my not a mask on, and thank God I did, because I got down there and I'm completely sweaty to find out it's closed. And they were literally got a construction guy telling everybody to go all the way back to C to go through security. So basically, I've got 10 minutes to get to my flight. And I'm patient. And of course, I'm looking for the temperature check. When's that going to happen? Well, I get in there and they tell me to stand on these things. And before I know it, I've got my temperature tested. And I actually said to the girl, God, I hope I don't have to get my temperature tested because I'm sweating all over the place. Well, apparently I passed and I was through it. No warning, no nothing. I have no idea what that was. Any case, I get through. I get to the flight. And I'm booting it. And I'm the last one on. I boogie down, get in to see that the plane is not even half full. Not even. And of course, you've got people between, like no people between each other. So you've got space, space, space. Now, on the aisle where I was, there is no space. There's like the space there. So you've got like a seat. And we've got half a plane empty. More so. Seriously. Well, they start announcing and talking about, the seatbelt thing. And of course, now they got the mask added. So we have to endure that. But they said a mask and a face covering. Or a face covering. So as soon as they finished their little spiel, I got up and I said, I went through a nightmare being given this piece of garbage when I have had this on the entire time. And now you're telling me that I can wear a face covering? You said it on your announcement. And then they said, no. No, you have to wear the mask. I said, why do I have to wear the mask when I have a face covering? You just said face covering. And then I just knew, oh my God. I can't win here. I went back with that mask on and started talking to my neighbor. You see, most people with the mask, they don't talk to each other. No. See, this is part of having the mask on. They don't want you talking to each other because every time you open your mouth or move, you are a liability to the airline. In any case, I don't give a shit. So I said, hey. Of course, he was all tanned up. I'm like, whoa, where have you been? Mexico. Well, they're on their way to quarantine. I find out him and his whole family is on their way to quarantine. And there's a half a plane empty. And here we are, all packed in at the front with the quarantine people. How much do you think WestJet takes this all seriously? Because if they were taking it seriously, they would have put the quarantine family at the back, quarantined away from us. This isn't good enough, but this piece of garbage is. And I'm going to show you a little comparison right now between the WestJet issued garbage cloth that's called a non-medical mask that they insist is protecting me and everybody else compared to not a mask. So here we go. We're going to use a vape today. So you'll see that it's coming through the fabric where I'm actually blowing on it. And straight up in a plume, okay? Now the WestJet one. The one where I was gaslighted into wearing. Oop, let's have a little one for good measure. So I'm going to make sure it's done right. Do that again. It's hard to see because it's coming out all ways. Through the gaps. Let's do it again. So in fact, that's actually dispersing always right to the passenger next to me because I have like a wall here. It looks like not a mask is actually more efficacious because there's no gaps and there's room to breathe. So it's actually humane. Now, I saw all sorts of piece of garbage masks in the airport. Crapola from China. Definitely not efficacious. Now, this isn't either, clearly, because this was never intended to protect anyone from a virus, ever. It is all about spit. It was for surgeons to make sure they don't drip sweat into a wound that they might be operating on, or to accidentally have mucus come out of their body and land on the patient. That's what these are intended for. Now, actually, if you're actually talking about a virus, this is much more protective than this. In any case, I'm hoping that WestJet will see the error of their ways and all the airlines will, well, reconsider their position. Because the fact is, you made me downgrade and then stuck me next to the quarantine family. Unbelievable. Now, I'm not expecting that they will come to their senses right away, so we're going to have to make some moves. And I'm going to teach you how to do that because I learned the game. Show up with your not a mask. And if they won't let you wear it, then you request their issued crapola. Don't bring one, don't go buy a special mask. Get their government issued crap. Okay? So you're going to stick it on. Because right now, it's all about the stupid ear loops, right? They need to see that. So you just do this, and you take the natural pleats. Go to the bathroom and do this. And you're going to use these pleats right here. Pull it down. so you can breathe. And then you're going to pull your not a mask out. And so they can see the stupid straps. Okay? Now you can breathe. And this is how I will sleep on the flight if it's long enough. Because honestly, I'll fall asleep in a second. And of course, the way to avoid any of this face covering nonsense so you can actually enjoy your flight and maybe read or catch up is to eat. So that's when you're going to pull it all off. And you're going to get out of your bag your napkin. And the beauty now is that you have no passenger next to you. So you have 2 tray tables. Okay? So you can kind of set yourself up, get organized. Before it was kind of a drag, actually, having someone next to you. You felt like you were infringing on them, or at least I did. I'm not a troublemaker. I like to keep to myself, and now I can pull out a spread without any guilt at all. So you just bring down your tray table, and out of your bag comes a lovely plate. I've chosen salami and special cheeses, blueberries and grapes, and a non-GMO bar for dessert. Of course, we know their stuff isn't so great, so we're just going to sit down. And how you're going to do it is you're just going to unwrap your treats. And, well, bon appetit. The whole way. This will take me at least a half an hour. And I'm going to make it stretch. I love salami. We're in a different era, my friends. And we're going to have to learn to work around this nonsense until they can actually acknowledge not only the error, but the stupidity of which they are enacting on us. It's time to take charge. And I'm going to work on the airlines with not a mask. And I'm going to continue to promote the fact that none of these are medical devices. None of them, even though this pretends to be one.